are survey, bellow, luscious, humble, rummage, and mislead. These words are coming from the text Thunder Cake that you read last week with your teacher, as well as the text Princess and the Pizza. So let's get started. We are on day 1. The first word we want to talk about is the word survey. You can see the example here from the cover of Thunder Cake. So survey means to look over or inspect something. In this picture, we can see that Grandma surveys the black clouds or looks over and inspects them carefully to figure out how far away the storm is. Another example of the word survey comes to us from the text The Princess and the Pizza. We remember that Paulina really misses surveying the kingdom from her castle tower. So people usually survey things or look at them carefully to get information or to make a decision. So I want you to think for a moment. Why might a gardener survey her garden? If you have someone next to you, you can turn and talk or think to yourself. You can use this sentence frame. A gardener might survey her garden too. Okay, let's take a look at the next word. The next word is bellow. Bellow means to shout or roar loudly. From pages 18 and 19 in Thunder Cake, we can read this text selection. Grandma and the girl count the amount of time between the lightning and the sound of thunder as they gather ingredients for the cake. So if we know that bellow means to shout or roar loudly, let's take a look at this text example. Crackle, crackle, boom, kaboom, the thunder bellowed. It was dark and I was scared. I want you to think for a moment, which clues in this sentence helped you figure out the meaning of the word bellow? I'm going to read this for you one more time. Crackle, crackle, boom, kaboom, the thunder bellowed. It was dark and I was scared. Which words did I read that helped you figure out the meaning of this word bellowed? Right, the words crackle, boom, kaboom, and also knowing that you're scared. These are the words that are clues to help us figure out that something that bellows makes a loud noise and can also be scary. So we're going to think for a moment. Look at this young lady. Would you bellow? So keep in mind, guys, that when you bellow, you don't simply shout, but you roar. People might shout when they are excited at a sporting event, or they might just shout to get someone's attention from across a long distance. However, people bellow when they are very upset or very angry or frustrated, frightened, or even in a lot of pain. So, would you bellow? Here we go. If you reached into your lunch bag and a big hairy spider crawls onto your hand, you can use this sentence frame right here. I would or I would not bellow because. Okay, if you are anything like Mrs. Body, then you said that you would definitely bellow because this would be terrifying. Let's look at the next example. If you walked into the library and banged your knee painfully against a table, I would bellow because or I would not bellow because. Last example. If your dog grabs your homework and chews it into pieces, I would bellow because or I would not bellow because. Okay, let's look at the last word that we are going to learn today. The word is luscious. So we saw examples of this word being used and explained in the text Thunder Cake. The word luscious means delicious or extremely good to eat. Grandma and the girl continue to gather ingredients for the cake as the storm gets closer. The ingredient that we are referring to was the tomatoes. Grandma says, "I'm here, child," she said. Her voice was steady and soft. "You won't fall." I reached 3 luscious tomatoes while she picked strawberries. Lightning again. how big, round, and ripe those luscious tomatoes are. You can see them here in the photograph. So when we think of the word luscious, we're often reminded that many fruits are luscious. I think that juicy ripe plums are luscious. I think all berries are luscious, particularly strawberries. And again, luscious meaning delicious or extremely good to eat. The last thing we want to do today is remind ourselves of this word survey and recognize that this is a multiple meaning word. And multiple meaning words mean just that. They have more than one meaning. So survey could mean to look over or inspect something. It could also mean like a survey that you give people where you're asking people questions about their opinions. The last way that survey could be used in a context is measuring the size of a piece of land. So let's take a look at an example. Between 1815 and 1855, Missouri was surveyed into 6-mile square sections to form townships. So which meaning of the word is being used here? Is it definition number 1, 2, or 3? Right. If Missouri is being surveyed into 6 square miles or 6-mile square sections to form townships, then they're measuring the size of a piece of land. Let's look at the next example. Sasha and Miguel survey their classmates to find out about their hobbies. How is the word survey being used? 1, 2, or 3? Right. In this instance, we're talking about example number 2, where we are asking people about their opinion. Let's look at the last example. Mrs. Juan surveys the table to make sure that everything is ready for the holiday dinner. Right, just like Paulina surveying over the kingdom, she is looking over to inspect something carefully. That wraps up day 1. We'll see you back tomorrow for day 2.